Hello, hello, hello. It's your baby boomer, Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, and welcome to another Create and Relate. So, I did not finish anything yesterday, but I told you that starting today I was going to try to get things a little more structured. I did work on a workable budget a little more. I still have to tweak it a lot to get it where I want it. I have devised my weight chart or weight journal. It's on the computer and I'm using the computer, so I can't show it right now. When I set my printer up, I can print it out and show it to you. I had to write everything down. It's first vlog today, sorry. And, excuse me. I'm working on a project now that I'm considering using as my first tutorial. Um, just putting something together last night. I will never be caught in a Taylor Swift dress. My body is not, I don't believe everything is for everybody, and my body is not for a Taylor Swift dress. But I love skirts, and I thought about something colorful because I like colors, but I think I wanted to go a little more solid. So this, of course, is going to be frogged, and this is what I started working on instead. This is like a grape color. I don't know if you can, that's a little better. Yeah. But it's so, so pretty. Purple is my favorite color, so you really can't go wrong with purple with me. I mean, even my tape measure is purple. I got it bad, y'all. But yeah. And although this is a very small portion of it, it's not quite as long as the other. And I'm one who tries to work in my ends as I go. I haven't decided if I wanted to like put a ruffle at the bottom. I'll see when I get there. But I'm kind of ribbing the waistband as I go. And I'm doing double crochet all the way around. And it's 8 rows and then 2 rows of the white. So every 10 rows will be a ratio of 8 to 2. And kind of started this morning. Um, Depending on the fit, because I have an awkwardly shaped body, I might go with elastic in the waistband also, along with the ribbing, and that's simply for the fit. But as I get further along in it and see how that works up, like I said, I might do a tutorial for that. And I did choose a color that I have a lot of. Also, I wanted to work on decluttering my room. And what I've done, everything in my room is in either these types of containers or little white crates or some kind of bag, except paperwork. Paperwork is kind of here, there, and everywhere. I mean, they all in slots, but it's like a slot here, a slot there, 2 slots over there, a pile right here at the foot of the bed, pile over here, and I want to take the time to sit down and get them all together. But today, and I mean, I don't care if it takes me from here to doomsday to finish this room project, as long as I have space to sit down and talk to you all. But today I did empty 2 of these, and what I plan to do is use those to condense another, or to go through another, or even things on my shelves. So that was done. Let's see, what else did I do today? I studied 3 videos. I want to be better. I want to be better. That's kind of my philosophy in life. I always tell myself to never say I'm satisfied, because once I get satisfied, then I won't strive to go any further. So that's kind of always been my philosophy. It's what I live by. That's what I do. So those 3 videos were very helpful, extremely helpful. There were a few other videos that I watched as well, but I watched those particular 3 for tutorial purposes. I did walk today for 5 consistent minutes. And along with standing up and getting some steps in, I wash dishes just about every day. But today I took it a little further. I emptied what was in the dish drainer, washed dishes, took the time to dry those, put them away, and there were a few more scragglers like big pots and pans. And while I was, putting the others away and washing the other few dishes, I was letting those soak. So I was able to get that done. It's still a lot of day left. Oh, I am purposely saving one for last. Okay, my stitch count. I am only at 2,040 so far today. I think I told you I set my goal for 7,500 stitches a day. So I have about, 5,460 to go, which isn't bad at all. I do most of my crocheting in the evening anyway. Usually I have my babies during the day, so I'm with them, and I took that time that I didn't have with them to get other things done. So that's going to get done. We talked about the vlogging. I studied the 3 videos, got my weight diary done, future tutorial possibility, walked 5 minutes, emptied 2 boxes. Okay. Ordered my groceries. They should be here in a couple of hours. And of course, I'll be putting those away. But along with that, there were some things that we needed right away, like creamer for the coffee and even coffee. Y'all know I live by my coffee. But the kindness of people still exists. For some reason, I was having a problem with my card, and the money was there. It's just that my card wasn't working. And when you get up to the register and there are people around, even if there are no people around, that's kind of embarrassing. But I'm kind of like the business first, panic later type person. So the cashier that I had was like the friendliest lady in Walmart. I have named her Faith. I am one who, people who make a real strong influence or impact in my life, a real positive impact, I tend to rename them. So I call her Faith. And she's always so calm-natured and reassuring, and she's like, no, we're going to work with this until we make this work. And there was a gentleman standing behind me, and I didn't want to hold him up because I go during the senior hours. I go early in the morning before they open the store up for everybody. And my thing is, one of the reasons we go that early is so we won't get caught up in the crowds. We can go ahead and get what we got to get and get out. This gentleman behind me, after we had attempted my card, I tried Walmart Pay using this card and everything. And in my mind is just ticking, what is going on with the card. The funds are obviously here. I don't know what to do. So then it's think. Okay, well, I'll just leave everything here, go home, make a few phone calls, and get this situation straightened out. And then I'll come back and get everything. I get my coffee later on. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe it's God's way of telling me that I need a little break. Lo and behold, as we are gathering my bags to take over to customer service so they can hold them for me, the gentleman behind me says, I got it. Immediately, I'm like, no, I can't ask you to do that. No, please, because he's probably a little older than I am. And age didn't matter. I'm just describing the gentleman to you. And Miss Faith says to me right away, girl, you better take that blessing. And you better not block his. And I remembered what my mother told me years ago after someone explained it to her. When someone is trying to give you something, even though it's a blessing to you, it's also a blessing to them, because God put it on their heart to do that. And if they disobey God, they're blocking. If they disobey God by not doing it, they're blocking their own blessing. And if you don't accept the blessing that's coming to you from them, you are contributing to blocking their blessing. And she said to me, baby, please don't block his blessing. And don't block yours either. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I was very humbled. I mean, I'm generally a humble person anyway, but I was like so touched to the point of tears. And I promised myself I wouldn't go cry. So I got to keep the chipper. But it's not like what I got came to like $10 or $20. This was like close to $100. And I immediately turned around and introduced myself to him. He introduced himself as well. And he said that he was from this area, but he recently moved to Florida. Y'all, this man lives right down the street from my aunt in Orange Park, Florida. I mean, same street, just right down the street. I was too excited. I was tickled pink. I was like, oh my goodness, are you serious? But parts of my family are like really, really, really private, so I didn't drop her name, you know. But yeah, that was crazy. It's amazing how God puts things in your life right at the time that you need it. And it's I mean, even in emergency situations, and it was kind of an emergency. I mean, there were things other than the creamer and coffee that we needed, like the bread and the eggs. But that to me was so profound and awesome. It really, really, really was. Oh my goodness. And y'all, I want to send a shout out to Drea. I have been looking at a lot of her videos over the past few days. And she did her first live yesterday. And I didn't catch the very first one that she did yesterday. She did two yesterday. I caught the second one and I hung in there with her. And that was when I started doing this one. But having this concept in mind, because she's working on well, first she was working on a scrap jacket, and she wants it, she described it that it's going to look like a jean jacket with the pockets and the collar, and excuse me. And what she was working up was absolutely beautiful. It really was. But the Taylor Swift dress, when I was watching her night before last, she was trying to do a tutorial. I don't know why I want to say tutorial, but she was trying to do a tutorial, and she was tired. Bless her heart. But I was following everything she said, and when I was chatting with her a little bit today, she was saying, when I told her that I followed everything, she said she was like, she was scared because she was scared that nobody would be able to understand it, because she tries to come across as simple as possible so that people who don't know anything about crochet will understand what she's saying. And that is when I teach face to face. That's the way I teach. I take everybody back to the basics. And when I say back to the basics, I tell them, this is not a needle. Do you see what is at the very tip? Please tell me what it is. A hook. That is what this is. This is a crochet hook. So, and then I tell them what the word crochet means, which is hook. It's French for hook. And we get into the base. I don't go into the history of crocheting. That's why I want to go back to school and get my associate's degree in crocheting. to. It's more than a thought of mine now. It's a desire. So that's something I'm going to look into probably next year or so, and just so I can learn and know. I get so much of a greater appreciate. I'm a why person. I am, as long as I know the why, even in my job trainings and things, as long as I know the why, I can get it done. When I worked at the hotel, when I first got hired at the hotel in August of 2015, I was thrust into the front desk position and told, you run this report, this report, this report, this report. Doesn't have to be done right away as long as it's done before your shift is over. So the first big thing we had to happen was a power outage. And the assistant general manager came up to me and said, do you have your contingency report? Nope. Hadn't had a chance to run my reports yet. I had mine on a time schedule. I got there at 3. I checked out my check-ins to see who was coming in, set everything up for that. Usually took about an hour to do that. Then I would run my first set of reports. I broke it up so that they would be run every 2 hours. And then I'd get some cleaning done, or if I was checking people in, I'd get the people checked in. And then after a couple of more hours, I would run another set of reports. And I just kept going back and forth like that. So she snapped at me and said, you always need a contingency report. That's the first thing you do when you walk in. Mind you, this is the same assistant general manager that trained me. And she did not express the importance of it being done right away. So after everything calmed down, I went to the general manager and I asked her, what is the contingency report and why is it so important that we have it right away? And when she explained to me that the contingency report had everything I would need on it in case something like a power outage happened, it let me know what rooms were occupied, what rooms were vacant ready is what they call it. What rooms were vacant ready, what rooms were vacant dirty, who needed breakfast vouchers in the morning, excuse me, when their proposed checkout dates were, if any of the vacant ready rooms were pre-assigned to incoming guests, how many incoming guests I had. So that way I was able to preset the rooms and didn't have to rely on the computer to do it because, of course, I didn't have access to the computer. So after that was explained to me, the why of it, and I think I was like maybe 2 weeks in, and I was able to grasp the gist of the job. It's just that I didn't, my timing, my personal timing was off in doing everything. But once I understood how important everything was, the general manager sat me in her office and she went over each and every report and let me know what it was, why we had it, what information I was able to find from it, if anything happened and I needed to make any phone calls, or if anybody called and needed any information, what I was allowed to give them based on those reports. Any information going out of that hotel had to be based on those reports. We couldn't offer up, unless we knew the people, of course, any other information. And you couldn't call there and ask, is Sally in room 109? Well, if you know Sally, you know she's in 109. If Sally is in 109, I can't tell you. I can tell you if she's not. I can't tell you if she is. So the way I did that was just explain to people, I cannot tell you. I can't disclose who our guests are and where they are. So if it's Sally you want, then you need to call Sally, and Sally needs to tell you where she is. Because Kitty ain't going to tell you. Nope. But, yeah, as long as I know the why, I'm good. I'm good. So that is why I want to go to school for crocheting. I want to know the history. I want to know, I mean, you can pretty much look at it and know the why, but I want to know why some stitches give a certain look. I've not studied stitches enough. I mean, I have created stitches, I have learned stitches, and I know the effect that it gives, but I don't know why. You know, the puff stitch to me, that's kind of simple. But there is another variation of a puff stitch I did years ago that it took me almost a day to get it like I wanted it because I couldn't understand why I kept dropping stitches. With the puff stitch, sometimes when you yo and pull through, it's very easy to slip through one of your yos when you pull through your material. And it'll make it look like you've lost stitches. Sometimes fast crocheters like me will miss that yo, and when you go to pull, that little long piece is dangling out the back. If you pull it, everything will start coming along with it. So yeah, the puff stitch to me is pretty simple as to understanding the why of it. But the front post, back post double crochet, and where the hook is placed to create the effect. It wasn't until I was working on these shawls that I realized exactly where that hook needs to be to get the deepest heel or peak. And those are things that I would like to be taught so that as I go along, I won't get into a project and realize, this stitch looks different than this stitch, and then frog it and go back and frog it and go back and frog it and go back. I want to be able to utilize my time wisely, in other words. So, I'm about to go in for my second cup of coffee. It's that time. But I wanted to jump on and let you guys know that I am moving along. It's just the first day of July. I got 30 and a half days to go. Groceries coming in a little while, and I want to go ahead on and set up and be prepared for that. And I will check you all out later. When you look in that mirror, as I always say, and you see that gorgeous face, that gorgeous figure, you make sure you tell that reflection, I love you. And know from every fiber of your being, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, that I, Kitty, love you too. You guys have an awesome day. Until later.